Why? It's a warning about what happens when nobody is brave enough to tell a legend the truth. Start with the match, because it fit the theme so perfectly you could barely believe it. This was a cagey border derby of a game between two nations who share a frontier, half the same league, and basically the same style. For 90 minutes, neither side could surprise the other. Ronaldo had one real sniff, a rebound in the 37th minute that Spain keeper Unai Simon pawed away. And that was more or less it. The game looked destined for extra time until Spain did the one thing Portugal couldn't. They found a new idea off the bench. Ferran Torres came on, threaded a pass to fellow substitute Merino, and Merino finished first time into the corner. Spain's 5th clean sheet in 5 games. Portugal's tournament and Ronaldo's career on this stage gone in an instant. The team with fresh legs and fresh ideas beat the team chained to the past. If you wanted a single image for Portugal's whole World Cup, that was it. To their credit, Portugal actually defended magnificently on the night. Nuno Mendes, their brilliant left-back, kept Spain's teenage superstar Lamine Yamal completely in his pocket for the best part of an hour. And for long stretches, this looked like a game Portugal might just nick or drag to penalties. That's the cruel twist. The defending was heroic. It was everything in front of the defense that was broken. And the moment Mendes limped off injured, the fragile balance tipped and Spain's quality off the bench did the rest. And to understand why this hurts, you have to understand the ghost that's followed Ronaldo his entire career. The World Cup is the one thing he never conquered. Think about that. This is a man who has won everything club football can offer. On 3 different leagues, 5 Champions Leagues, a mountain of individual awards, and yet across 5 World Cups, the biggest prize in the sport always slipped through his fingers. His best run came all the way back in 2006, when a 21-year-old Ronaldo was a bright young thing in a Portugal side that reached the semifinals. He was a supporting act then. He never got that close again. In 2018, Portugal went out in the last 16, and in 2022 in Qatar, he trudged off the pitch in floods of tears after a quarter-final loss to Morocco, benched for that game, seemingly finished on the biggest stage. Everyone assumed that was the end of his World Cup story. Instead, Martinez handed him a lifeline, a whole extra tournament, and near unlimited minutes to rewrite the ending. This was the do-over, and it produced the worst version of the story yet. His World Cup record ends light and unfulfilled, forever a rung below his eternal rival Lionel Messi, who has the one medal Ronaldo would have traded almost anything for. Now let's be honest about the thing everyone could see and only one man refused to admit. Ronaldo was too old for this tournament. Not past it in a cruel, disrespectful way, just simply, mathematically, no longer the player who could carry a team. Those 19 touches weren't a fluke. 12 of them came in the first half, the fewest he has ever recorded in the first half of a World Cup match in his life, and he didn't touch the ball at all after the 80th minute. Across this tournament, he averaged 3.7 shots and 3.3 duels every 90 minutes. Back when he was actually one of the best forwards on earth at the 2010, 2014, and 2018 World Cups, those numbers were 5.9 shots and 11.5 duels. He attempted 4 aerial duels in his first 2 games and then 0 in his final 3. The presence, the spring, the menace in the box, all of it was gone. The stats didn't whisper it. They screamed it. And here's where it gets almost comical, because there was a moment this tournament when the whole internet decided he was back. After a flat, statue-like opening game where he barely moved and got roasted for it, Ronaldo went out and scored twice in a blowout, and the reaction was instant. He's back, the king never left. Doubt him at your peril. There was just one tiny problem. It was against Uzbekistan. With all respect to Uzbekistan, my grandmother could score against that defense on a bad day, because the second you put Ronaldo up against a team that actually reached the knockout rounds, the goals vanished. In 4 matches against real opposition, he managed exactly 1 goal, a penalty against Croatia. Portugal, with the most prolific international scorer of all time leading the line, mustered a grand total of 2 goals across his 351 minutes on the pitch. 2. That's not a striker anymore. That's a monument you march the team past on the way to elimination. So who's actually to blame for this? Because it isn't really Ronaldo, and this is the part that matters. The man responsible is Roberto Martinez, the coach who built an entire World Cup campaign around protecting a 41-year-old's place in the starting 11. He had a ready-made alternative sitting right there on the bench in Goncalo Ramos, a striker who has bailed Portugal out before, who scored the 90th minute winner against Croatia in this very tournament after coming on, and who once bagged a hat trick in the 2022 World Cup the moment Ronaldo was dropped. The blueprint for benching Ronaldo and winning existed. Martinez had run it himself, and he refused to touch it. His justification, said out loud and repeated to anyone who'd listen, was that you can't take Cristiano Ronaldo off. As the former striker Troy Deeney put it on television, the real problem is that Ronaldo makes it so hard to drop him. That's the whole tragedy in one sentence. Nobody could tell Cristiano Ronaldo no. And it became a distraction that swallowed the whole team. Every game turned into the same soap opera. Would Martinez dare take him off? And if he did, how would Ronaldo react? Deeney pointed straight at it, noting the faces Ronaldo pulled when he was finally hauled off, and summed up the trap perfectly. Portugal were damned if they benched him, and damned if they didn't. A squad that should have been talking about tactics and opponents spent the summer managing one man's mood. That is not how you win a World Cup. That is how a team quietly loses its identity while pretending everything is fine. And that indulgence had real, measurable consequences, not just vibes. Because Portugal built their play around a passenger, they couldn't impress against anyone decent, and it cost them the group. A limp draw with Congo DR, a game Martinez again defended his Ronaldo selection after, meant Portugal finished where they didn't want to, and drew Spain, one of the tournament favorites, in the round of 16 instead of an easier path. Read that again. The decision to keep the aging icon on the pitch didn't just fail to help. It actively handed them a harder route and then got them knocked out of it. The whole campaign became a museum exhibit dedicated to one man's farewell, and the football suffered for every minute of it. Martinez didn't fail Portugal because he loved Ronaldo. He failed Portugal because he loved him too much to coach honestly. Now let's take it seriously for a moment, because Ronaldo has earned that much, and then some. This is a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner, a 5-time Champions League winner, a man who played 23 years for his country, and in his own words, won 3 titles for a Portugal that had won nothing before him. He dragged that nation to the European Championship in 2016, a trophy he rates as highly as a World Cup. And he did things on a football pitch that a generation of kids will spend their lives trying to imitate. Wanting to send a player like that out with dignity is not a crime. And honestly, you can even understand a coach's instinct not to be the man who benched a god. But reverence is exactly the poison here. A national team exists to win football matches, not to stage manage a legend's goodbye. And the moment those 2 goals stopped arriving against real teams, the kindest and the smartest thing Martinez could have done was the one thing he couldn't bring himself to do. So it ends the way it does. Ronaldo left the field emotional, the World Cup trophy he chased for over 2 decades gone forever, saying simply, "I'm sad to be leaving the World Cup like this." He will go down as maybe the greatest player never to lift it. Martinez.